Hey guys, and welcome back to STL TV Live. Now joining me in the studio, she's a host, she's a comedian. Her name is Kym D. How are you doing, Kym?
Hello, how you doing?
Good, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Now talk to us about your comedian here in St. Louis.
Yes.
What's it like to be a female comic here?
Number one, it's hard. It's not as easy as it seems, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's not that many female comics in St. Louis. About 4 or 5 of us are working. And it's a lot of fun. If anything, you get to meet a lot of people and just, you know, touch people's lives in different kind of ways, you know, you wouldn't expect.
Now, you said touch people's lives. How did you start off becoming a comic, and when did you know you were funny?
Okay, everybody, you know, everybody tell you, you're funny, you should, you know, get on stage, but, you know, that's people who are at work, your friends and family. It's hard getting on stage, and I always wanted to do it. I would say about 7 years ago, I used to follow like Maurice G and Jesse Taylor. I was like a comedy groupie, and I wanted to do it so bad, but I was too scared. I was like stage fright. You know, so where a lot of people just cannot get on stage and do anything, let alone comedy. So I just basically, when my job ended in 2009, my company went out of business. My son went off to college, and I was sitting at home just like going crazy by myself, nothing to do, and just going to comedy shows. And I saw how they did like the open mic down at the House of Comedy, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna step out on faith and do it. So I just did it like, and like within a week, I was like, I'm gonna do it. Told everybody, and everybody from my job, you know, everybody previously, they didn't believe me, but they came out. It was like 50 or 60 people came out and just went on stage and did like a little, you know, 10 minutes, you know, thing with the comics, and, you know, I did my own little thing. It was scary, but I was like, I haven't stopped since then.
How did you overcome that fear?
It was one of those things, like I was like, I'm just gonna try it. You know, I can at least say at 60 years old, I did it. You know, even if I got booed and, you know, cried and got off stage and was like horrible, it was horrible. It was like, I didn't want to be older and saying I didn't try it. You know, I didn't try it, and you never know. So I did it, and I was like, I tied with a fellow comedian, Jason Nelson, and the next week I was like doing a feature spot with Marcus Combs from Chicago, and it just like took off from there. Yes.
That's great. So the ride has been really great.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, I have ups and downs. You know, in comedy, it's not all roses. You know, you have to do shows with 10 people sometime, and, you know, with, you know, dealing with different promoters, and, you know, paying you in chicken and drinks and things like that. You know, it's not always money. But when you're doing something you love and you finally found your, you know, your thing you love to do, it's just like, it's no comparison. You know, to get on stage in front of people and really get that energy going back and forth.
What is it like when you know you got somebody and you made like the whole crowd laugh? What does that feel like to you?
It's nothing like it. I see why people like Martin Lawrence, and when they can do movies and things, but they have to get back on stage because it's the energy. You feel it. When I'm feeling, I'm looking at you, and you may not look too happy or whatever, and I know I can make you laugh, or you laugh, and you might not want it to laugh, but you couldn't help it. It's nothing like it in the world. I can't even describe it. It's just, it's like babies and puppies and monkeys. They always make people smile. So it's like when you have that same magic touch, it's like, I don't know what else to compare. Yeah, you know, people always smile at babies and monkeys and, you know, puppies. So it's just like, there's no comparison.
So what kind of things do you talk about on stage? Where's your inspiration come from?
My inspiration comes from life, real life things, real life. I started off talking about like gaining weight and, you know, kind of being in denial, like my clothes are shrinking, but no, you're getting bigger, and just things like that. I was like talking about being in the bathtub one day, and, you know, the water, I let the water out the tub, but I stood up and it was like a whole lot of water still going down the drain behind me. So it's like real life things that happen that I talk about, relationships, men. And some people might call it raunchy. I don't like to call it raunchy. I like to call it adult conversation, adult comedy, basically from a female's point of view. You know,
do you give tips, or do you give like relationship advice?
In a non-PG type of way. But I do it in a way where we can relate. I'll say things that most people think about but won't say, so I'll say it, and I'll just approach it in my, you know, my kind of way. So.
Okay. Well, we got a lot more coming up with Kym D. You guys don't go anywhere. She has some great stuff coming up, great stuff in the works, that you guys want to go check her out. Remember to keep up with STL TV and all of the great events going on around St. Louis. You can friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can always catch us streaming live at stltv.net. Keep it locked right here. We'll be right back with more STL TV Live.